He's lying.
What?
Richie Carter was in court yesterday.
Well, we know Richie thinks Dad did it. There's no point getting your knickers in a twist over it.
Yeah, but now he's saying that he actually saw Dad lighting the fire. That's what he's told him.
Is this what Richie told you, Rob?
No.
Is this why you've been worrying whether your dad might be guilty?
Richie hasn't said anything to me.
He's lying to you, Rob. It's impossible. Don't listen to his lies.
Look, will you both shut up? Richie hasn't said anything to me about the fire. I promise you.
What are you doing?
Trying to find out what's going on.
Are you supposed to be doing that?
No.
Well, shh. What's happening? Is it that detective fella?
Phil Harvey, no, he's done. It's forensics now.
What are they saying?
Can't hear. I know the gist of it, though.
And?
Cause of death: asphyxiation through smoke inhalation. Confirmation, definitely arson. Traces of petrol found on Jack's clothing. A pair of singed gloves found in one of the fields belonging to Jack. Also traces of petrol.
That doesn't mean he started the fire. Even I know that.
No, you're right. Doesn't prove a thing.
Auntie, Robert.
What's happened?
It's time to get changed.
Is there any news?
Yeah, I just had a call. They're sending a car.
You're gonna come with us?
You have to, don't you?
What about me?
Do you want me to come? I mean, I've always assumed, but I suppose if you'd rather I didn't. You know, I know things haven't been brilliant since your dad's been... Look, anyway, it's up to you. Do you want me to be there? Don't you worry, Victoria. I'll give Emily a ring, OK?
Thanks, Kathy.
And the next day, you saw Sarah Sugden again.
Yeah, I went to check on how she was.
You were still off duty.
Yeah, I went as a friend. I was worried about her.
Tell the court what happened.
She was very agitated. She said she hadn't slept all night. And she was talking about leaving Richie and going back to her husband.
What did you say?
I tried to persuade her not to. I said she could come and stay at our house if she needed to, but then later on, when she did turn up to the house, it was merely to drop off her daughter so that she could go and talk to Jack at the farm, Mr. Sugden.
Did you try to stop her then?
Not really. She'd obviously made up her mind.
Weren't you concerned for her safety?
Yeah, I was.
Why was no action taken regarding the attack in the pub?
I tried to persuade Sarah to lodge a formal complaint against Jack, but she wouldn't.
And why was that?
She blamed herself for the whole situation.
She said that?
Yes. It's a common attitude amongst victims of domestic violence. I've seen it many times.
Why didn't you go with her up to the farm?
She wanted me to look after her daughter, and she was adamant. She felt responsibility to make everything all right for the sake of the kids. And she was convinced that she could talk Jack round, that he wanted her back.
She thought that. Even after Mr. Sugden said, I could kill you, I could kill the pair of you.
Sarah assumed that that was just a figure of speech.
But you felt differently.
Well, it's not for me to second-guess what he actually meant by those words, but it was absolutely clear from Jack's behaviour that he was out of control and capable of serious violent assault against her. I knew that it wasn't safe for Sarah to go back to the farm, and I told her that.
Would you remind the court how long you've been a police officer?
11 years.
And Sarah Sugden ignored your advice?
Yes, she did.
No further questions, Molly?
Emily! Emily, it's me, Ed.
Ed,
Are you okay? I've been trying to track you down for ages. This is brilliant.
you're at the bus stop.
I'm early.
Are you here for a job interview?
How did you know that?
Just did.
It's not for hours yet. What are you doing? Do you want some lunch? I've brought me sandwiches.
I'm working.
Emily! I was wondering where you got to.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Thorpe. I'll be right in.
No, Kathy's just phoned. The boys have got to go to court. Victoria's off school. She was wondering, could you babysit? I said that was fine.
It's very good of you, Mrs. Thorpe. I'll go get my stuff.
Can I see you later?
Aren't you going to introduce us?
Yes, of course.
No, I know who you are. You're that famous Ed, aren't you?
Ed's come for an interview.
Really?
It's not for about 4 hours yet. I hate being late.
Why don't you go and keep Emily company up at the farm? I'm sure Kathy won't mind.
Emily?
Take the Bible in your right hand and read the words on the card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Diane Blackstock.
Yes.
Hello? Kathy? Hi, I was wondering where you got to. Rob, will you tell the driver we'll be with him?
Hi.
This is Ed. Is it okay if he keeps me company for a bit?
I've got a job interview.
Yeah, sure.
Kathy, driver's getting narky.
Right, come on, everybody. Better go. You be good, Victoria, yeah?
Come on, Kathy.
Goodbye. Yeah, thanks. Good luck.
I've just realised who this family are.
Mrs. Blackstock, you've told us about the events in the Woolpack on the night of the 15th of November.
Yes.
You saw Mr. Sugden the following morning, did you not?
Yes.
Can you describe that encounter for us, please?
Jack was very tired, said he hadn't slept at all. He was still terribly upset and angry about Richie and Sarah leaving Victoria on her own.
Upset and angry? Which?
Well, more upset, really.
Not angry.
Well, yes, he was a little bit angry, but only because he was upset.
Did he say anything about his threat of the night before?
I told him it was very stupid to say it.
Did he show any regret for what he'd said?
He knew it wouldn't do him any good to go shouting his mouth off, not if he wanted custody of Victoria again.
Did he actually withdraw his threat against Mrs. Sugden and Mr. Carter?
Not in so many words. I mean, why should he? It's just one of those things you say, isn't it?
Is it? Did Mr. Sugden talk about his financial troubles?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said...
Mrs. Blackstock?
He said the farm was worth more on paper than it was as a working farm. You know, like with the insurance.
Did you talk about the insurance specifically?
Yes.
How would you describe his mood?
I don't know. Depressed, I suppose.
Depressed?
He was really upset about what had happened in the pub. He said he got so depressed about the farm it made him do terrible things.
What terrible things?
Like shouting at Sarah and me.
But he threatened you as well.
No, he just shouted at me a bit. He was in a state. I didn't feel threatened.
But he told you he did terrible things. Was there anything else apart from attacking his wife in the pub?
No, of course not.
But you said terrible things, plural. What other terrible things do you think he was talking about?
No, he said he might do something terrible because of the farm.
Thank you, Mrs. Blackstock.
I haven't finished yet.
Mr. Hamilton Jones. Mr. Hamilton Jones?
No questions, my lord.
I didn't think he meant to do any harm to Sarah. I can tell you that now.
You may stand down.
No, Jack Sugden is a good man.
Mrs. Blackstock, I'm afraid you are not here to offer your opinion of the defendant's character. You may stand down.
But you're twisting everything I say.
Mrs. Blackstock, please.
You didn't do Jack any favours, did you?
Betty.
Yes, Alan?
Shut up.
No, Alan, Bet's right.
I call John Jacob Sugden.
Do you want more? I don't believe it.
To be frank, Eric, you're asking us to do the job with one hand tied behind us backs.
To be frank, Zach, I've met builders who do a better and faster job with one hand tied behind their back.
What we need is a float, a reserve of cash from which we can purchase essential materials. I can't come running to every time I need a few quid. It wastes my time, it wastes your time.
I agree. So why doesn't Lisa order what she needs and get the suppliers to invoice me directly?
Well, it's up to you, Eric. But we all know what invoices mean.
What? The goods are legal.
The goods are expensive.
Do you expect me to hand over hundreds of pounds of my hard-acquired cash after this? Do you know how difficult it is to sell antiques looking as if I've just come from a rather unsuccessful barroom brawl?
No, you're right. I was foolish to ask. Pillar of society like your good self wants to do everything kosher and above board. Even though it will cost you another £2,000, £3,000, maybe £4,000 before the job's finished.
How much do you want?
£1,000 cash. I promise you a 20% saving on materials alone. More you spend, the more you save.
Close your eyes and turn around.
You are.
Close your eyes and turn around. You must be clinically insane. Probably as a result of a blow to the back of the head.
Can I open my eyes now, Dad?
£500. Now, just get on with it.
You know it makes sense, eh?
I could kill you. I could kill the pair of you. Did you say those words, Mr. Sugden?
Yes.
What did you mean by them?
I was very angry.
Angry enough to kill somebody?
I was a bit out of control. I'd be lying if I said that wasn't true. You see, that morning, a couple of heifers in my herd had been diagnosed with TB. I don't know if you know what that means, but basically you can't sell or move any of your cattle for months until you're given the all clear. I mean, you get compensation, but it can still break a farm. And on top of that, there was this grant that I'd missed. It's quite a bit of money. It's like one disaster after another. I didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, everybody knows what it's like for small farmers these days. I thought I was about to become another statistic. And then there was all the stuff with Sarah, being separated, trying to keep the rest of the family together. I hadn't slept properly for months. I suppose the thing with Victoria was like the last straw. I just blew.
So the words, "I could kill you," were a figure of speech to express the anger that you felt?
Yes.
Did you have any intention of harming your wife in any way?
I grabbed her. Everyone saw it. I can't deny it.
Did you want to hurt her?
I wanted to shake some sense into her.
Is that an acceptable form of behaviour?
No. No. I was ashamed of myself. I'm still ashamed now. I didn't sleep at all that night. Next day, I could barely string two thoughts together.
The insurance. Mrs. Blackstock has told the court that you commented that the farm was worth more on paper than as a working farm. Did you say this?
Yes.
Why?
It's true.
Were you tempted to exploit this fact?
Well, you think about it, yeah. Of course you do.
Did you burn down your own barn with the intention of making a fraudulent insurance claim?
I'm a farmer. I've grafted the best part of my adult life building that place. I swear to you, I physically couldn't do anything to destroy it or damage it in any way. Not for any measly amount of cash, no matter how much I needed it. It'd be like cutting off my own hand.
The forensic report has shown, conclusively, that there were traces of petrol on your clothes.
I use petrol all the time. There's cans of the stuff in the barn. I've probably spilled it on myself dozens of times. I mean, that morning, I think I was filling the quad bike. I spilled some then. Went all over my trousers.
The gloves. Singed, traces of petrol, thrown carelessly away in one of your fields. Were they your gloves, Mr. Sugden?
Definitely. I'd been burning some rubbish. They caught in the flames. I was furious with myself. A good pair of gloves. I mean, I should have tried to patch them up, really, but I just chucked them. Anyway, to be honest, I don't even remember doing it. I guess I must have had more important things to worry about.
Tell the court what happened on the night of the incident.
What were you doing?
When?
When I got off the bus. You didn't look well.
That was where it happened, a year ago today.
Oh, right, that lorry crash, I remember. Oh, that was your butch then? Oh.
He was on the way to Houghton to see me dad. We were going to get married.
I thought you were married.
That was later, when he was in the hospital.
I should go. You don't want me hanging around, not today.
No. Yes, I do. This morning, the crash. It was all in my head again. And then I looked up, and there you were. I think you're supposed to be here.
I shouted to Robert to call 999. I ran into the barn. It was full of smoke. Hot smoke. I could hardly breathe. At first I couldn't see. And I thought, my God, I don't know where she is. And I must have wasted, I don't know, seconds, a minute, just looking around trying to find her. It's a big place, that barn. Then I saw her up in the hayloft. She was already unconscious. Maybe she was... She could already have been dead. I called out to her, but she didn't... There was just no way I could get up to her. You know, the ladder had collapsed, the hay was up in flames, the whole frame was starting to burn like crazy. I couldn't do anything. I could feel my skin burning. I thought I was going to pass out. You know, I had to get out. I had to get out. I don't know what else I could have done. I mean, maybe I should have. I don't know. So I ran out of the barn and left. I had to leave her.
Thank you, Mr. Sugden. No further questions, my lord.
Do you consider yourself to be a violent man, Mr. Sugden?
No.
I could kill you, I could kill the pair of you. That sounds pretty violent to me.
I've told you. I was angry. I lost control. It wasn't a literal threat.
So you had no real intention of killing Mr. Carter?
Of course not.
Did you want to hurt him physically?
No.
You've said you were angry. Angry enough to want to shake some sense into your wife.
But that was all. I didn't want to waste my time thinking about Richie Carter.
Not even to take some of that anger out on him? Surely you blamed him for the destruction of your family?
Yes. Yes, of course I blamed him. But look at me. I'm in court accused of something I did not do, separated from my children. This is the last thing I wanted to happen. So, no, I did not want to get into any kind of fight with Richie Carter.
You're telling this court that at no time did you intend to physically harm Mr. Carter in any way, yes?
Yes, that's right.
And yet, on the 21st of November of last year, 5 days after the fire, did you not attempt to strangle Richard Carter in Hotten General Hospital and threaten to kill him once again?
My lord, really? My learned friend knows perfectly well she is referring to something which may or may not have happened after the event.
My lord, this goes directly to the defendant's claim that he had no violent intentions towards Mr. Carter.
I will allow it this time, Miss Browning, but stick to the point, please.
I'm obliged, ma'am. Mr. Sugden, it's true, isn't it?
Yes. But that was different. I mean, I believed he had murdered Sarah.
Really? Why didn't you tell the police about your suspicions?
Well, I was exhausted. I was still in shock. I
Lost control?
No. Maybe. I suppose so. Would it be so surprising?
Perhaps you were just trying to finish the job you'd started the week before.
Don't be ridiculous.
When you lost control in the Woolpack public house, was that the first time you'd abused your wife?
Yes. The only time.
Really? Or was it just the first time you've been violent towards her in public?
No.
Well, we'll never know, will we? Because Sarah Sugden is dead. We are relying solely on your assertion.
I suppose so.
Just as we have only your word that the singed gloves, Exhibit G, were burned during an innocent bonfire.
I'm telling the truth.
Just as we have only your word that you were conveniently asleep when the fire started. Just as we have only your word that you couldn't find your wife in time to save her life. That you didn't go into the barn to make sure she never came out.
Yes, that's right. You do only have my word for it. But I'm telling you the truth. It's the only thing I can do.
I put it to you that your assertions are, at best, the common display of a violent abuser's self-deception. At worst, they are a willful attempt to deceive this court.
I'm not deceiving anyone.
But you have no other way of corroborating your story, have you, Mr. Sugden? Have you, Mr. Sugden?